Rosa Isela Vazquez, a 20-year-old expectant mother in her 8th month of pregnancy, received a message on Facebook from a woman who claimed to be offering free baby clothes. As times were hard for the young mother-to-be, she accepted the offer. Rosa decided to meet this woman, whom she later learned was named Veronica N. Unbeknownst to Rosa, Veronica was in turmoil. She was unable to have children of her own, a reality that had pushed her deep into despair. In her desperate longing for a child, Veronica's rationality unravelled, leading her to concoct an extremely horrific plan. As Rosa met with Veronica, what unfolded was a terrifying chain of events. Rosa was abducted and subjected to a harrowing ordeal. The desperate lengths to which Veronica went in pursuit of having a child of her own proved to be chilling and beyond comprehension. This is just crazy, how someone could do this to another person. The sheer audacity and brutality is shocking. I also can't understand how someone can be so selfish and exhibit such a blatant disregard for human life. This is without doubt a horrific case. But before we dive in, I want to say that I release videos weekly. So if you want to see my next video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. It really helps me out. Thank you. This nightmarish crime began approximately 8 months prior when Veronica M., whose name cannot be fully disclosed due to legal constraints, embarked on an elaborate deception. She went to disturbing lengths, faking a pregnancy and leading her friends and family to believe that she was expecting a child. Veronica was prepared to immerse herself completely in this web of lies, demonstrating how far she was willing to go in her twisted pursuit. Things got even worse. Veronica found an accomplice known as Gonzalo N. and offered him 10,000 pesos, which is approximately $500, for his services to end Rosa's life and extract her unborn baby from her womb. The gravity and sheer coldness of this plan is utterly staggering. Information on the backgrounds of those involved is scarce, and it leaves me with more questions than answers. With Veronica, there seems to be a twisted yet abhorrent motive in her desperation to have a child, which led her down this dark path. However, when it comes to Gonzalo, the questions are even more disturbing. What could possibly lead someone to be willing to kill a young pregnant woman for money? Is he a professional hitman? Does he have a history of violence? The readiness in which he was willing to participate in such a horrific crime is alarming. The notion of someone even entertaining, let alone agreeing to such an atrocity, is difficult to comprehend. The depths of depravity that this case uncovers is truly chilling. At some point, Veronica reached out to Rosa, who was nearing the end of her pregnancy, at 8.5 months. Veronica, who had used a false profile, posed as a 60-year-old woman. She lured Rosa with the seemingly kind offer of free baby clothes. With Rosa's partner out of work and the couple facing financial strain, this offer appeared to be a much-needed lifeline. The cunning, malevolent nature of Veronica's ploy is stomach-churning. It is especially despicable how she exploited the financial vulnerability of Rosa and her desire to provide for her unborn child. This was supposed to be an act of kindness, but instead it was a fatal trap. Something else I question is whether Rosa was specifically singled out by Veronica, or if this was part of a larger scheme. where Veronica sent out numerous messages to various expectant mothers on Facebook, waiting to see if anyone would take the bait. The possibility of the latter paints an even more chilling picture of how callous and desperate this dreadful plan may have been executed. On the fateful day of November 30th, 2022, Rosa Esla Castro set out from her home in the port of Veracruz with the intention of meeting Veronica to get the much needed baby clothes for her soon to arrive child. CCTV footage captured the unsettling encounter between Rosa and Veronica near a pharmacy. The footage revealed that Veronica arrived late for the meeting, and as she interacted with Rosa, she was visibly restless and glancing around anxiously. Suddenly, Veronica is seen forcibly shoving Rosa into a car. Tragically, this was the last time Rosa was seen alive. The sinister plan that had long been in the making was now in full swing. The subsequent events following Rosa's abduction are not clear, but the grim facts that have surfaced paint a harrowing picture. It is known that the two culprits brutally removed the baby from Rosa's womb and then callously discarded her lifeless body in Medellin del Bravo, located in the Mexican state of Veracruz. As Rosa's mutilated body lay hidden, her frantic family filed a missing person report on that very day, November 30th. Her sister, Lisbeth, made a passionate plea on camera, begging for the safe return of Rosa and her unborn daughter, who was destined to be the only little girl in the family. The community rallied behind the family, with calls for a march in Veracruz. Also on November 30th, Veronica made an appearance at a Red Cross medical centre, drenched in blood and cradling a newborn baby in her arms. She sought treatment with an apparent sense of urgency to register the baby, likely aware that medical examinations could quickly unravel her deception and prove that she hadn't been pregnant. However, her ruse came to a halt when the medical staff denied her request on the grounds that she couldn't provide any evidence to establish that the baby was indeed hers. 3 days after her tragic abduction, the lifeless body of Rosa was discovered on a ranch in Los Arios, roughly 25 kilometers from where she was last seen. What they found was nightmarish. The young woman's body was found desecrated, and the realization that her unborn child had been violently removed from her was traumatizing for both her family and the authorities. In a turn of justice, on that very day, Veronica and Gonzalo were apprehended and taken into custody on charges of kidnapping and femicide. Shockingly, at the time of their arrest, they had the newborn with them. The infant was rescued, received medical attention at the hospital, and was subsequently handed over to her father. The family of Rosa were not allowed to identify her remains and were advised to bury her quickly, as she was in such a horrific state. How cruel that must have been for her family to go through. Veronica and Gonzalo faced the weight of the law, as Mexican prosecutors expressed a firm resolve to prosecute them to the fullest extent. The State Attorney General, speaking on behalf of the state of Veracruz, asserted that there would be no impunity for any acts of violence against women. Officials declared in a statement, "This is how the power of justice is transformed in Veracruz." As of now, it remains unclear whether the court dates have been scheduled in this case, or if the accused have secured legal representation. The Mexican authorities have not released any further information regarding this ongoing investigation. Tragically, the horrifying fate that befell Rosa is not an isolated incident. Her death serves as a grim reminder of a pattern of similar crimes that have occurred in the same state in recent years, targeting young, expectant mothers. One such case that eerily echoes Rosa's tragedy is that of a woman named Judith in 2018. Like Rosa, Judith was lured through social media under the pretense of receiving a donation of clothes for her unborn child. At the age of 22, and with just days left before she was due to give birth, Judith's life was brutally cut short. Her body was found bearing a wound from a cesarean section, and through diligent efforts, the authorities were able to rescue her baby. Another heartbreaking case is that of pregnant Martha Ramirez Lewis, who was just 19. She went missing after getting a taxi with a friend, and she was later found dead, with the baby being brutally cut from her womb. These haunting cases reflect a disturbing trend that preys on the vulnerability of pregnant women through deception and cruelty. And I dread to think what happened to Martha's baby. Tragic. That's the end of this episode. Until next time, stay sane.